So the reason why spirit prompts you to spend more time in nature, to ground yourself, is one, not only because being out in nature is fucking amazing, okay? Getting some fresh air, being able to literally touch grass will change your life, cure your depression, okay? But also from a hoodoo and a historian and a root worker's standpoint. Stay with me for a second. Especially in places where your city, your hometown was riddled in nothing but slave plantations. Because if you do enough history, if you do enough back work through your census records in your area, the land records in your area, historical archives in your area, you'll find that a lot of the common places that you frequent were actually former slave plantations. And sometimes they'll even have it right in your face. So for example, I am here at the famous, infamous Leakin Park. And for those of you who are from Maryland, from Baltimore, we already know Leakin Park is famous because this is where they used to find all the bodies. But on a lighter note, Leakin Park is supposedly infamous because of who used to own this land. This now 1,000 acre park has a small little river stream that flows all the way through that actually connects all the way to the Chesapeake Bay. And this is actually one of the largest freestanding parks in this area, to be honest. And the truth of the land, which you will definitely, if you're just gonna do a quick Google search comparing your apples to my, 5-year degree as a historian, the Google search that you're going to do is going to give you some very general information about the park, the land, what the owners were doing on the land, this work that he was doing in Russia, and all of these other things that don't actually, to you, mean shit. Because the real team, and you'll even see it on the signs here when you come to the park. People come to this park all the time for birthdays, cookouts, walk their dogs, whatever. If you go to the park, towards the pavilion, there are signs as mandated by the state historical archives and historical network that says that this land has to be marked that way. Those signs will tell you in a very minute detail. You got to be on it to catch it. They're going to say everything about, again, who owned the land, how this guy busted his ass to sell all of his houses downtown to buy this park and turn it into an archive for people to come and blah, 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 blah. The key word that you need to pay attention to is the fact that this entire land used to be a corn plantation. And the historical Google search that you're going to do when you see some dates and stuff like that is going to take you back to at least the 17th century. I can assure you that white women and white men were not taking care of if this is the equivalent of their plantation, 1,000-acre plantation full of corn by themselves. They were not maintaining a natural water supply like the water wheel, where they had to walk several miles from their mansion with an empty bucket to then collect the water, which is now full of gallons of heavy water, and then trek those gallons of heavy water in a bucket back to their mansion, even after the discovery of cars and horses. I can assure you that they were not the ones doing that. This is how it feels when your history is whitewashed, because they'll try to convince you that the story that is easily to find, the one they wrote, is like the history that you need to know. And then they'll try to bury your history or the true history in just like one line. And you just have to be intelligent enough and open enough, and your third eye has to be sharp enough for you to catch it. Because again, quick Google search will tell you all about like Thomas Wynans and the Crimea property and how they did all of these things for the state and all this shit, like I said. But the key word is that this motherfucker was a corn plantation. We already know slavery was happening in Baltimore City. In fact, some of the most heinous examples of things that happened to our ancestors on slave plantations was in Baltimore City when we had breeding plantations and shit, okay? Because I can promise you, if this was 1,000 acres worth of a plantation, a whole 1,000 of it full of corn. You hear me?